Good morning. Thank you guys so much for connecting this morning. I pray all you guys have had a great week and a great weekend so far. We're going to give a little time for people to connect with us, those who maybe run a couple minutes behind schedule this morning. Good morning, Drika. How are you? Good morning, Tay. Good morning to you. Miss Hoy, good morning to you as well. I pray you guys have had a great week. Felicia, good morning to you. Thanks so much for connecting this morning. JG, what's up, nephew? Thanks for connecting with us. We're going to give it about another minute or so before we get started and give some people time to connect. I pray that all is well with you and yours. And that you are enjoying your weekend. For those of you who are off for the weekend, those of you who are working, pray that everything's been pretty smooth for you. Miss Euphoria, thanks for connecting today. Pastor Ransom, thank you so much for connecting today. Anita, thanks for connecting this morning. Hey, listen, I want y'all to hit the chat up. I just want to know who still has a bright outlook for 2025. Or if your light is dimming, let me know. If you all the way out the game and you over 2025 already, hit up the chat. Let me see what you got. All right. Still positive. All right. Bright expectation. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, cool. That's great. I just want you guys to still be encouraging. So I want you to ponder this question. If God's favor were to find you today, where are you? If God's favor, now that's not what we're talking about. I just want you to consider that. If God's favor were to find you today, would you be in a good space, or would you be in a position where you would have to shift mentally to rise to the occasion? Or are you there expecting and waiting for his favor to find you? And so I want you guys to keep that in mind as you continue to navigate through this year of 2025 with everything that's going on. Make sure that you're always in a position for God's favor to find you in a great posture before God, one of faith and gratitude and expectancy, so forth and so on. Good morning, Cam. So, yeah, we want to make sure that we're maintaining that mindset, that posture, because it's important. It's important that we maintain that posture because, it's nothing like you showing up for someone or to surprise someone. And when you arrive, their disposition is heavy, their countenance is dark and fallen. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? It kind of takes away from what you intended to do by showing up for them. So we want to make sure that if God comes through on a Monday, your countenance is right, your disposition is correct. If he comes through on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, the same can be said to be true as it relates to how the Lord finds you. And so I just want to encourage you guys with that. Also, one prophetic announcement that I'm going to make before we get into the thing, our discussion for today, and that is good news is coming. Good news is coming. Now, I don't know what this good news is, but I know that good news is coming. And so you just start building your expectation for good news. I don't know what all that entails of for who, but I do know that good news is coming, and those who are in a position to receive it, if you're in a position to receive it, it's coming. So, we're going to go ahead and hop in this discussion for today because I really want to share this. I want to share this with you. I think it's going to help you guys out a lot. Y'all, thank you. I had to get one more sip. So this morning, do I want to read the text? Yeah, let's read the text. Let's read the text first. In Psalm number 91, verse number 1 and 2. Yeah, we'll stop at 2. Verse number 1 and 2, the scripture says, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. Again, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. So, these two passages of Scripture are very, very incredibly comforting when you understand the full context and the gravity of what is being declared here. And so I want to talk about, before we get into the text, I want to build the foundation of this morning's discussion based upon these two passages, but from a more personable and everyday experience. Every day in our lives, we have so many different things that we encounter. Some are, some of you are single parents, some of you are married parents, and so you have to worry about being a parent, and then you have to worry about being a spouse, and then on top of that, you are either an entrepreneur or you employed, or whether you do freelance work or whatever it is that you do, you have something else. And then you have the responsibility of being yourself. And then you're a friend and a sibling, a relative, a member of your community. And you have all of these things, and each one of those things that are that I've just mentioned, they come with their own challenges, individual challenges. It could be anything that come with challenges. It doesn't always have to be horrific, but in some instances, they are pretty intense challenges. And when you couple all of that together with just life itself, the thing that life does without anybody asking for it. Because life will challenge you. It has all types of twists and turns. Life will throw you curveballs for no reason, unwarranted and unexpected elements of surprise. They're all throughout life. And when you're just trying to maintain on day to day, that can become overwhelming. And as humans, there are certain points in time that we have the difficulty of trying to communicate how we are experiencing life in the moment. And in many instances, when you're unable to experience how you're unable to communicate how you're experiencing life in the moment, we keep it in and we don't say anything to anyone because I don't know how to explain how I'm experiencing life. I know I'm having an experience, but to put words to it or to articulate it, I don't understand. And as powerful and important as communication is, good morning, G. As powerful and important as communication is, sometimes you just cannot communicate the way that you're experiencing life because of being overwhelmed with how aggressive and gaudy, if you will, life has come in this moment. Sometimes life will show up in a corporate navy blue suit and everything is business as usual. But then sometimes life will pop out on you with a bodycon dress and some stilettos, dressed like it's ready for the club. And then at other times, life will show up in a black suit and tie, like you're on your way to a memorial service or something. I mean, it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I do understand that. And we all share the same experience, even though we're unable to communicate it with each other. We all share the same experience for the most part. Maybe not at the same time, but as a whole, collectively, we all are being faced with the same challenges at some point in time, at some point throughout our life, where you're not faced with any challenges that no one in the world has ever been faced with, and that is very important for you to note for yourself so that you don't feel like your life is weird or your life is drastically different from anyone around you. I was talking with one of my daughters, one of my twins called me on this past week, and it was the middle of the day. I get a text, "Hey, Daddy, are you busy?" No. What's up, babe? Can I call you? Of course. I get the call, and my 28-year-old daughter, when I answer the phone, she starts crying. And I said, "Baby, what's wrong? What happened?" And she could barely gather herself. And when she finally was able to say something, she said to me, she said, "Dad, I am so tired of being tired of life." Wow. I am so tired of being tired of life. I said, "Explain what you're talking about, baby." She said, I can't explain it, but it's just one thing after another. Come on, have you ever been there? She says, just one thing after another, and it's always something there that challenges me. It's always something that I gotta get through. It's always something that I gotta get over, and I'm just tired of being tired about it. I don't know how to just settle the fact that it's gonna always be something there, right? Come on. And she says, "I'm tired of not being able to settle that it's gonna always be something." And I know that we have to be able to realize at some point that as long as we live, it's gonna be something. I said, "You're absolutely right." And so we continued to talk and kind of navigate through what she was feeling. But when she said, "I'm tired of being tired of the challenges that come with life," it's it echoed in my all throughout my being, actually, because like I could relate to that on so many different levels. Oh my God, man, I could relate to it. I could relate to it wholeheartedly with everything in me. I could relate to it. And so, as we continued the conversation, navigating through it, then she was able to move through, and sort through some of what we were feeling. There was nothing, now watch this, there was nothing in particularly wrong. It was just the everyday challenges. And so, what we do is when we cannot identify what's wrong, we fail to identify what we're feeling and are experiencing. Because when you start combing through your life and you're like, "Well, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine." And he's like, "Well, it just must be me tripping." No, it's not you tripping. It's not. It really is always something. It really is. It really does feel like you can't catch a break in certain times of life. It really feels that way. And even though you're unable to identify it or articulate it, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just there. I mean, it is there. You just don't have words. You just don't have the ability to communicate it or identify it. And so after that conversation with her, earlier this week, throughout the week, I was praying, and this passage have just resonated so differently with me throughout the remainder of the week. And that's the passage that we read. "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge. He is my fortress. He is my God. In Him will I trust." And so what when I began to recall these two passages, I realized that was these two passages, they are in fact the answer, or they are the solution for those moments, because those two passages are actually giving us the intel of how or where to find a safe place to land, right? A safe place to land. Because the reason why we're tired is because we don't, and the reason why, we're overwhelmed and weary, as I seen somebody put in the chat earlier, weary. The reason why we are that way is because you're just in the air. We're flying. We're just trying to make it through life, but we have failed to identify a safe place to land in whatever particular season you're in. But this passage said that he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And say, he is my refuge, he is my fortress. In other words, he's my safe place to land. And I know whenever you're used to doing life and you've been around for a minute, you've had some experiences, we know how to muscle through. But it's still important that you identify in every season and reestablish and locate your safe place to land. And your safe place to land should always be in the presence of the Lord or in the secret place of the Most High, as the psalmist wrote. He said, and we shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And so here is what happens whenever you're able, and I want you to hear this. Oh my God, I want y'all to get this. When you're able to identify that place in God is your safe place to land, regardless of what's going on around you, whether it's a financial storm, a social storm, economic storm, relationship storm, regardless of what it is or where it's storming or where you are experiencing turbulence. If you identify your safe place to land is in the secret place of the Lord, in the presence of God, the scripture says we shall abide under the shadow, under his shadow. And what happens is that the shadow of the Lord comes between you and whatever is opposing you on the outside. The shadow of the Almighty becomes the gulf between you and your experiences and what it is or how it is that you are encountering the season or the moment or the times that you're in. And that's the place where you come and you are led and restored and refreshed and all of these things. We have to get back to that, because otherwise you will just continue to be flying through life and be weary. You can be flying and tired, you know. I know in the account of after the flood of Noah, he sent doves out a couple times looking for a dry place. And when they could not find a safe place to land, then they came back to the ark. But when they came back one particular occasion, whenever they knew it was safe, it was because the olive branch, the dove returned with the olive branch. And so they knew that there was a safe place to land out there. But if in fact you don't identify a safe place, you'll keep coming back and landing in the same place. In that same place that I'm talking about landing, some of you guys, when you have not identified your God as your safe place to land, you land up in depression, you land up in isolation, you land up having to be withdrawn from the entire world around you, you land in anxiety, you land in depression, you land in a struggle for your mental health. We land in all these other places because we have not identified the safest place to land. And so many times when we don't have a safe place to land, we choose those places because those places have been there before. Those are the places that we found to land in previous times. And so when you want everybody to leave you alone, you get an attitude, right? When you want everybody to leave you alone, you just shut down. and you land there. And whenever you practice landing there and you cannot find a safe place to land, you end up reverting back to that. But this time in your life and for this occasion that you're here this morning on this live, God is saying to you, I want you to identify my presence as your safe place to land. I want you to come and I want you to be able to land here, and you don't have to have the burden of trying to articulate it to me, because I know whenever you arrive that you're just looking for safety and refuge. I know you're looking for protection and security. I know that you're looking for peace and calm. And when you identify this, I'll make sure that I always have those things in place for you. Because if not, you'll end up doing what we've all done so many times, looking for a safe place to land. You call somebody up, someone that you really trust sincerely, and you call them up and you share these things with them. And after you share these things with them, you end up regretting sharing with them after you walk away. Because either number one, you don't think that they understood you clearly, or number two, you are afraid that you will hear these things again and they will change the way that you are perceived by the person that you're sharing with. And so we hold it in and we don't land anywhere. And when you have no place to land, you're flying all over the place, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You're all over the place. And one day you're praying, and the next day you're setting crystals out, and the next day you saging your house, and all of this stuff, and because you have not identified your safe place. Your safe place is in His presence. Your safe place is secret exclusively to you and God. And you trust that if I land here, I can rest and renew my strength. I can renew my mind here. And it's going to help you to avoid landing in the places where you are just emotionally overwhelmed. You won't have to go back and land in the place that you were also emotionally scarred, psychologically scarred, spiritually scarred. You go back and you land in those places. And many times when you leave those places, you don't have any more strength than you had when you landed, because that further withdrew from you. It further calls or called for you to exert energy and strength that you didn't have whenever you arrived. We don't always have it. You don't always have the strength. You don't always have what you need in that moment. And you just pray that your resilience don't fail you. But if you land in a secret place, if you find a safe place, identify God as your safe place to land, you can come down off of all those things, regardless of what are the things that have worn you out? What are the things that are causing you to be weird? What are the things, do you know sometimes an expectation, you can get tired of having an expectation for certain things or certain ones. You can just hope people get it or get you. And there come points and times in life where you are just over the expectation. You don't even have the strength to have an expectation. And it's dangerous to continue to move forward without expectation, because you set yourself up and you make yourself vulnerable to whatever. And so when you start losing expectation and you start losing outlook, when you start losing hope, you have to find a safe place to land. Don't keep flying like this. You can't keep flying like this. You can't keep doing life like this. It's okay to land for a minute. I don't care how much more ground you have to cover. If you need to take a moment to land somewhere and to refresh and reposition and revive yourself, do it. It's okay. But make sure that you're landing in the presence of the Lord, because He can renew your spirit. He can renew your mind, refresh your vision. You know, sometimes whenever you're scrolling online, you can be on a particular page for an extended amount of time, and it could cause your motion or your movement or your megabytes per second, your speed, to slow down. And to renew it, you have to refresh. But when you refresh, you'll see it buffer for a second, but then you'll land back on the page that you were on, but now you have mobility again. Now your screen ain't stuck, and now you're not, having a hard time scrolling and moving through the page or the site or wherever you are. And the same is true in life. Sometimes you have to find that safe place to land so that you can be refreshed. And that is in the presence of the Lord, friends. It's nowhere else to find that. We can find that in His presence. Yeah. I remember they used to have this song that they used to sing whenever I was younger. It's like, just a little talk with Jesus. Sometimes you just got to land there. Because if not, you'll continue to fly around looking for vindication, validation, revenge, and affirmations, and all of these things. But if you land in the presence of the Lord lets you know what matters and what don't, and you won't find yourself looking from redemption in places, people, and things that do not have the power to redeem you or restore you or refresh you or vindicate you. That comes from the presence of the Lord. Because I'm going to tell you this, or I'm going to say this, and you guys know it to be true. When you don't have a place to land and you're trying to continue to move forward, and you know that you're weary and you need rest and you need a moment, and you continue to try to move through it for the sake of perception and how you look, it is a horrible feeling for the world around you to see you one way from the outside and you feel totally opposite on the inside. People looking at you saying, "Oh, I see you, girl. You doing your thing. Hey, boy, you on it. You killing the game right now." And that's what people are saying. But on the inside, you're just so tired. You're like, man, I need to rest. I'm not really mad. I'm just tired. I'm not really angry. I'm just tired. I'm not even offended. I'm tired. But I have no place to land. And so I just got to keep it moving because that's all I know. And you end up continuing for extended periods of time until you find yourself inability or unable. You find yourself unable to maintain flight. And usually that's when we crash out. Everything comes tumbling down. You fall to the attitude, you fall to the emotion, you fall to the depression. You end up going off on people or just really acting out. Not because you're bipolar, but because you haven't had a place to land in a while. And you end up being offended with people that expect you to fly because that's all they've ever seen and known of you. And we don't like to be vulnerable to the point of saying, look, I just need somewhere to land right now. I'm not in the best place. I just need to be renewed and refreshed because in this moment, I need to take my rest. In this moment, I just need to chill. In this moment, I need to regroup and gather myself. And you do that in the presence of the Lord. You don't want to try to regroup and gather yourself when you've landed in the wrong place, because that is really going to be as uncomfortable as trying to continue without a safe place to land. And so, what I'm saying to you is that moving forward, identify that place and make sure that you're able to say or know when those times come that okay, I need to land for a minute. You can mount up on wings as eagles all day long. I'm not telling you not to. Mount up on your wings. That's what the Bible say. Do it. Nobody's mad at you for that. But eagles even have landing places, and they identify their landing place while they're yet soaring. And so I'm telling you to identify your landing place. If you're not there this morning, then cool, keep flying. But go ahead and identify it in advance. Go ahead, because it's going to help you to further navigate the best route to get you to where it is that you're ultimately trying to arrive. Whenever you take flights, you have layovers sometime. And those layovers is not just because they want to stretch your flight out. Those layovers is because it helps the airlines to navigate the best route to get you to where you're going from where you're coming from. And so what I'm saying is maybe, just maybe, if you identify your safe place to land there, God is able to give you further instructions on the best route from where you are to land where it is that you're trying to go. Just maybe. And I think we should consider that. And whenever you identify that as a safe place to land, you won't have to be offended with nobody. You won't have to be tired of people. You won't have to push people away. You won't have to isolate yourself. You won't have to do any of these things. You won't have to do it. You don't have to throw an attitude for everybody to just leave you alone. Because if you identify your safe place to land in God, in the presence of God, no one else has to be affected by that. You don't have to strain any other relationship. You don't have to offend anyone. You won't have to come back and repent and apologize and be like, hey, look, I'm sorry about what I said earlier. I was just real hungry. No. Y'all get what I'm saying? You don't have to do that. If you identify your safe place and you land in the presence of the Lord and you're refreshed and renewed in that place, you can move forward and no one can be affected. No one has to be. No other area of your life has to be affected. You can continue your travels and ensure your safe arrival at your destination. Listen, I'm just about out of time. I so enjoyed having this conversation with you guys today because I feel like it was a much needed conversation. And I really hope that you guys just meditate on what it is that have been disclosed today. And you take the moment today to identify the presence of the Lord as your safe place to land. And whenever you're tired or you feel endangered or challenged or overwhelmed, you know exactly where to land and to refuel and reboot. That's my prayer for you today. I love you guys so much. I pray that you guys have been inspired and encouraged and enlightened and all of the above this morning. I will see you guys on next week. If you need me before next week, you know how to reach out to me. DM, inbox, text message, email, however you do it, phone call, however you do it. Hit me up and I'll get back with you guys at my earliest convenience. I love you all, and I pray that you all have a great Sunday afternoon and evening, and that this upcoming week is the best week of your year up until this point. Don't forget to take a moment to go and make a donation after this. If you don't know how to make your donations, then reach out to whoever sent you this link or myself, and we will give you the information. But please do, by all means, go and make a donation. I love you all. I bid you all blessings and Godspeed, and I will see you guys on next Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Peace. Tell them me claim it, all of my blessings, my name it. With faith, me I go own it. Nothing shall get home it. Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and no fear. Blessings go find me, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss if ever gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Money gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss the blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Let me claim it. All of my blessings, my name it. With faith, me I go own it. Nothing shall get home it. Speak.